like, there's no other choice. And that's, I think, that's the thing that people are directed by frequently. And then when they do a little extra, they say, I get to feel gratification about that.
Yeah. So I just started recording. Hello.
Hello.
So we're just kind of talking about, I don't know, we're just feeling really weird today. And so we've been wanting to record podcasts, and just because we have a lot of conversations together that I feel like maybe other people would like to hear. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of talking about, kind of where we are in life and what's going on and things that are difficult and what we're doing. And
maybe I'll give a summarize.
Yeah, go for it.
So it seems like both of us are in this position where we've arrived at the conclusion that what we thought we wanted to do and what was thought to be important isn't really anymore, and like lifestyle and goals are kind of changing because of that. Like for me for example, like I've been going to school and like finding a way to make that meaningful, and finally, like in figuring out whether I wanted to go to grad school or not, I kind of discovered that like I don't really want to do any of it right now. Yeah. And that none of it really leads anywhere, and that like there's that like when I graduate it's going to feel empty, and that there's no reason for me to like give myself a pat on the back and say I'm better than everybody else for doing that.
Because you have a bachelor's degree.
Because of having a bachelor's degree, or even, and then having that feeling makes you feel like, well, there's kind of no reason to feel like that about doing like anything, kind of.
Yeah. And so what I was kind of talking about with that is like, and with me, pretty much anything that I did was, any decision that I made or any goal that I had was basically like life or death, you know. It was be homeless or not be homeless. It was, you know, go to college so I can get away, or, you know, waste away in this place. And so to me now, it's like, how do I motivate myself to do anything when the sole thing that's been motivating me has been life or death, dire situations? And so, you know, we're kind of talking about like when nobody is telling you what to do anymore.
Yeah.
And when you realize that the thing that most people used to tell you to do is actually completely meaningless, like, how do you motivate yourself to do anything?
Yeah.
And because you can, like, you know, you and I both have all of these, like, goals, these things that we want to do that, you know, to potentially improve society, and we're just, I don't know, like, I can't even, like, I can't even figure it out, like, again, just I don't even know, like...
Yeah, well, people strive for a lot of things, you know. People strive for money, or they strive for, and like, being outside of that. I'm just sort of reiterating what you say so that I can kind of formulate my next sentence. Like, the when you're outside of that, like, institutionalized system of gratification, where, like, you're in school or you're at your job or whatever, you know, you climb the ranks and you're given a rank or a position amongst others. It's like
your honors.
Right. You inherit meaning from the community around you. And in searching for like a truer meaning, which I'm gonna try to get away with saying things like that, like something that's more honest to yourself.
Yeah.
You have to. It has to be on your own, I think. And you have to really invent it and pave it on your own.
Yeah.
And that feels really weird, and it's a lot of like serious manual work to create. You're creating that structure on your own of gratification, and like, well, what should I feel good about?
Yeah.
Like, why do people feel good? Like, the only instances where I think somebody has done something good is if it's, I don't know, offered something that really is worth a shit.
Yeah, so like
to the world.
The trouble now is, and I said this, we were kind of talking before we started recording, in pretty much every way but physical, like I died.
Yeah.
And And so, like I talked to, I have no friends right now. I have basically no family, and I have no community. So what we're trying to do is, you and I don't ascribe to the like consumer mentality. We don't find value in just gaining capital, and so in a lot of ways, not only are we pretty much outside of the like a community, we're having to, how do I say this, like we're embarking on a very, very difficult task of creating community within ourselves and between each other.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe there is some community that we could join that's already established,
I don't know.
but
I'm not really thinking about that right now. I'm not thinking about having friends and family or stuff like that. I'm thinking about having a personal stake in things and
a personal, well, that's kind of what I'm talking about with like personal community, like within yourself.
yeah.
Having meaning,
Personal
having purpose for yourself,
Yeah.
and learning how to do things for yourself that are positive and not destructive and don't harm anybody else and just help you.
Yeah. Like what I was saying earlier is like feeling really stuck and feeling really like just immobilized, kind of, not like depressive, but like I can't move, like I can't go anywhere, like I can't really explore the world around me with very much vigor and fly around and stuff like that. And so what I really want to accomplish is like having the artistic ability or having the physical ability to like do that, to fly around, to explore, to interact with people and to really go do it and like exercise myself as much as I can. But we're at this point, I think, since we've just kind of established that we're just at like level 1, we're kind of on such a ground level, and it feels like since we figured something out and since we overcame something else that we should be feeling really good or something, but there's nothing.
We're just feeling lost.
There's nothing there.
Yeah,
it's like, okay,
empty.
now we really seriously have to fucking build it.
Yeah.
We really seriously have to play guitar every day. Really seriously have to do shingy every day.
Yeah.
All of those things, like, write every day.
Yeah, it's like these past couple of years, we've slowly been tearing down all of these, like...
Yeah.
These, like, buildings that have been built for us or that we built ourselves from these, like, faulty thought processes, faulty thoughts, and we've just been kind of tearing down the authority figures that have been in our lives. We've been tearing down, like, what it means to be a person. We've been tearing down, like, our relationship with, like, how we feel about the government, and we've really just kind of, and so you've been tearing down all these things, and yeah, like, now we're just kind of left with nothing. And we don't necessarily feel like we're worse off. Like, I don't feel like we're worse off. In a lot of ways, I think we're so much better off.
Yeah, we've gotten very lucky, too.
But. Yeah, but at the same time, like, it's still nothing.
It's nothing, yeah.
And sometimes, like, I think a lot of people would rather experience abuse. Working for a company that treats them like garbage and treats the environment like garbage. Or experience... cycle, like awful, financial cycles or something like that, instead of rebuilding and starting from nothing and experiencing the nothing. And I think, like, it was our own naivety that we are in this place, that we didn't even think about the nothing. We didn't even think about experiencing what it would be like if we tore down all of these assumptions, all of these, like, safety nets.
I think we're still in the process of doing that too.
Yeah.
I think in the building we'll probably come across more and more things like that.
Yeah.
Some
underground bunkers.
Because, like, to me, with certain tasks, usually it's an art. Like whatever it is, you come across parts of yourself that don't feel quite right, where you are doing something, and then a feeling from like your childhood will come up for a second. You'll be like, oh, that's bad. Or something like you kind of...
Where the fuck did
like
that come from?
earlier today, like just having so much frustration that like out of nowhere trying to do shingy because my hips are so fucking tight. And I'm like, God damn it, my fucking hips, they're always so fucking tight, and I hate it. But I don't do shingy all the time.
Yeah.
There you go. I haven't been doing it for years and years and years. I know what I want, and that's the difficult thing. Now we just have to be patient with ourselves and like know that like since gratification is kind of a farce, we should always value ourselves, no matter what position we're in, while maintaining that drive to do that something, because you have to do something in order to feel free, in order to feel like the materiality and like sensitivity of the world.
Yeah, like simply living is not enough.
You can't just be sitting around, because it's a weird position that we're in right now. You and I feel like, are very close to what people could be in if our society was really good. Like, you and I have a good place to live. We don't have to work very much. We have the dogs. And we don't have really a lot of community. But, like, we have a lot of good food. We're healthy.
We have access to internet.
We don't have there's no ongoing conflict in our life.
Right.
We're not fighting something. Like, I'm not fighting my work.
Yeah.
Like,
your mom.
I'm not fighting for money or some person or some evil. So we're left with this, like, well, what am I doing then? Like, we're always, like, building this mountain against what we're opposing, you know what I mean? And that's what pushes us upward.
Yeah.
But without that, you really, really gotta build both sides of it. Like, you have to...
Yeah, and I feel like part of that comes from the, like, narrative that you tell yourself in your head of who you are, your identity, you know what I mean? Like, you say, like, oh, I want to be a compassionate person, or, oh, I want to be a really wealthy person, I want to be a really well-spoken person, etc. And you and I, again, because we've been just kind of, I don't know, wrecking ball all of these buildings, I keep using this analogy.
Yeah.
And I said this off before we were recording, it's like, when I died, I also lost all of the things that I felt like made me me, and all of the things that were part of who I thought of myself as.
Yeah.
I gained a bunch of weight. I lost all of the friends that I had. I lost, really significant family members who I spent a lot of time with. My entire career trajectory was based on, through elementary, even middle school, high school, was to get to college, and then I finally got there and I didn't want to be there. And so, again, like, and you've been kind of doing that also. You've been trying to find yourself through doing these things that you, again, realize, like, you don't actually find meaningful.
Yeah.
And are not what you thought they were.
Yeah.
And so now we're just like, now we have to, like, create this new narrative of ourselves, despite the fact that we've also come to the conclusions that narratives of ourselves are meaningless and just kind of, I don't know, like, fake.
It's meaningless, man. Like, what are you gonna go out and do with your degree? Like, you're just working for somebody else.
Yeah.
If you want to learn something, these days you can.
Like, identity is based in context, right? Like your identity is dependent on everything else that's going on. Yeah. And you and I are not part of anything else that's going on, and so what the fuck is our identity? And you and I don't subscribe to, like, every once in a while, you and I will kind of, like, act out we think it feels like to be, like, a married, like, heterosexual couple or whatever. Like, the other day we went on a fucking picnic.
That was fun, though.
I, like, wore a dress and you got all, like, dressed up or whatever. And it was fun. But that's not, like, that... I don't know, the thing that I said to you was, like, I feel more like a girl.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to say, because a lot of people are like, well, you're just a girl, you're not a girl, you're something in between, you're like a boy or whatever.
Right. But you're
trans, whatever.
That's a meaning, right?
And yeah, exactly. But it's all so completely dependent on where you grew up, who your friends are, where you view yourself in 10 years, like, who your idols are. Sorry, yeah, there's dogs, neighbors, and birds, and I'll close the door. And so we've really gotten ourselves into a bit of a pickle here.
It's a good one, though.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing.
It's better than any place we've ever been, which makes it the best thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, people are always creating all these, like, conflicts for themselves if they're not in one.
Yeah.
Via something else, you know, in order to...
Addicted to chaos.
In order to have something to fight, like, something to sort of hate, like, something to work against. Like, something you're disassembling or creating or whatever. Like, what does, you know... Like, a stark example I can think of is, like, somebody fighting in a war or something. Like, I'm here to kill those people, like, or to survive. It's a simple thing.
A simple, like, formula where humans generally thrive under.
You're very, you know who you are. You know which team you're on.
Yeah.
We do this. We do things this way.
Yeah.
They do it that way. We try to kill them. They try to kill us. It's like, that's such a... It's like sports. Like, it's part of the reason I've come to appreciate sports a lot recently. Well, because I've been exposed to them a lot more recently, is because it's just this, like,
team sports, right?
Team sports, yeah. This oversimplification of conflict that really satisfies a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a game, an objective.
There are rules to it?
Yeah, there's an objective with rules, and everybody knows them, and people win or lose. So it's like the gratification system again. It's like implementing this really simple one that everybody can understand and agree on. Like, this is when we feel good. When you win, you did the things in the game.
Yeah.
Like, how meaningless is that? But people get really fired up about it and really like it. You know? So...
This is... maybe off topic a little bit, but, like, this is probably why people get so obsessed with making money, is because it's this, like, game that they've kind of attached their meaning to doing anything, because like, if they really looked at their effect on society and, you know, their position relative to others and stuff, like, they would probably realize that it's pretty shitty and pretty meaningless.
I mean...
And so the meaning has to be money.
When you've got two options here, like, you're making a lot of money, or disassemble your whole life and realize that everything you've done is shit. Most people are going to pick the money. And that's because in our society, everybody's told that you're good for having that.
Yeah.
And so people keep getting it. I mean, you're not told directly, like somebody says, you're a good person. But they'll give you really good food. They'll give you really good services.
Yeah.
They'll give you really good materials.
They'll give you the benefit of the doubt. They'll let you...
Yeah,
I mean, even in our legal system.
Yeah. But literally, materially, like, you get a bigger house.
Yeah.
You get the best stuff. The finest stuff. And
you get all the symbols
quality
that point to value in a society.
That point to value and bodily make you feel good.
Yeah.
You know, like sitting in a very big, comfortable chair or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you get all that stuff. So nobody's going to throw that away to disassemble their fucking life.
Yeah.
And they just make that the game, right? Like, make that the game. Like, oh, I'm going to get more and more and more. And then you get rewarded more and more and more.
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing to take into your own hands what you should be doing and what you should be feeling good about.
Yeah. Because we don't have a religion. We don't have a set of... You know, we don't have people... We're not close with our families anymore.
Yeah.
As far as, like... I mean, like, you hang out with your cousin every once in a while, and I hang out with my cousin.
And play video games.
Yeah, I hang out with my cousin every once in a while. I watch her kids. But really, like, no one is really involved in our lives. And we don't really talk about our lives with anybody else.
Yeah, it's just kind of you and I.
And
it's kind of us together talking about it with each other.
And that's not a bad thing. Like, I don't wish that there were more people involved in our lives. In fact, I keep trying to have fewer.
You keep saying that you don't want any friends.
Yeah, like, I really quite enjoy how single I am.
Yeah.
Singular I am.
Yeah.
Because now I can create my own meaning. And I think that's, again, like, that's where we are. But we're in this weird place where, like, we have all of these ideas about how we can improve society. We have all these goals. We have all of these, like, we're starting to build a narrative of ourselves and have more concrete ideas of who we want to be. But again, like, at least I'm having trouble motivating myself to actually start those things and do those things. And part of it is just being paralyzed by other just, like, anxieties that I have to deal with. Like, I was talking to you again, like, one of the pieces of my identity that I've had for a long time, and one of the things that I kind of valued myself with, was that I was always ahead of everybody else. Like, you know, I was doing, like, 8th grade math in, like, 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always more mature. I was always more, like, I had always done more adult things sooner than everybody else. And so now that everybody has caught up to me, or I've stopped, I don't know how to phrase that, but, and most people are surpassing me now, I'm feeling a lot of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of anxiety.
Feeling surpassed? What do you mean?
People in my graduating class, for example, they're going to be seniors next year.
But what
seniors
is that?
In college.
Oh, you
and
mean...
that was one of my, like, I dropped out of college. Like, one of the ways that I said that it was okay is because I had all these other business ideas and these other interests that I was going to follow, and that I didn't have time to follow while I was in college. And so to me, dropping out of college was worth it because I was going to be able to start my businesses before everybody else graduated, before I would have graduated.
Right.
But the thing is I'm concretely not much closer to attaining any of those goals.
Yeah.
Than I was, 2 years ago. And obviously that's not entirely true, right? Like, I've made a lot of progress that's unseen by everybody, including myself, frequently.
Oh, but you've made some literal progress, too, that I feel like you're discrediting yourself on. Like getting the YouTube stuff started, doing this, doing the music. There are literal things that you've done. You just haven't done a lot.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't been a long time. And you haven't been doing it that consistently.
Yeah.
So you can't just say, I haven't been doing, I haven't done it yet. Because you're not just, it's not a transaction. It's just a process that takes a long time. And it's not very climactic. Like, you're not just like, it's not a training montage where you're just like, you're working up to the title fight, like, and then you're there, and then you win.
Favorite scenes in movies.
Yeah. It's more like, you're just doing your shit. Yeah. And you're just doing that thing. Yeah. That is, like, if you know where your heart lies, like, you know where your most compassionate self would put you. Yeah. Then that's good.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Do it. Then you're just doing it, and it's just the process, and it's just learning to, like, be in that, and, like, just be yourself in that practice or training, or whatever.
And that's the thing is, like, you can't be the best and ahead of everybody else if you're not comparing yourself to anybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm truly gonna get to the point where, like, my identity and how I feel about myself is not so strongly dependent on other people and what they're doing. Like, if I'm gonna really get to the point where I have a solid self-worth, I can't compare where I am in life to other people, which means that I can't ever be ahead of anybody else.
Yeah. You just have to accept where you are.
Yeah.
And that's for you, not for others.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like allowing that, like stopping that like super weird competitive thing will also allow me to appreciate other people's art.
Mm-hmm.
It'll allow me to be inspired by other people instead of just looking at their stuff and being like, oh, like mine is so much better than that. Like I could be that famous, or like, oh my god, like they're so good, I could never be able to be that good.
Yeah,
I should never even try.
That seems like where people usually categorize things,
mm-hmm.
right? Superior or inferior.
Yeah. Not, oh wow, that's interesting.
That's interesting. What did you do there?
Yeah.
Because people aren't dumb, man. I mean, they are dumb, but they're not all dumb. There's a lot of dumb things, but there's a lot of smart things too.
Yeah.
In what people are doing. Even if it's just a technique that you've practiced, like getting really straight lines.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, like for me, it's been this, it's the motivation thing, but it's also just being paralyzed by just thinking about starting.
Yeah, but thinking isn't a part of it anymore, right? We did all the thinking already.
Right. Like, I already have all the ideas. I just need to fucking write them down.
And just practice getting them out. Practice expressing them.
Yeah, practice the mode of expressing.
You know? You gotta work that. Muscle out.
Yeah.
And then maybe after a long time, some people will really admire you, and you'll feel like you'll be in that position that we might call achievement now. But you probably won't even call it then.
Yeah.
Call it that then.
Yeah.
You know? It's just doing it. It's always about work. It's always about working.
Yeah.
Work is good. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Of course it's good.
It's what makes anything feel worth it. Because if you just got everything all the time, it wouldn't have any meaning. Yeah. You wouldn't have actually learned from it.
Yeah, the work is where everything comes from.
Yeah.
That's all of it. It's not the achievement. It's not the place.
The struggle is where the insight comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be a struggle either. Just the thing you're doing.
It doesn't have to be a traumatic struggle.
Yeah.
But a little bit of struggle, I think, is...
Just push. It's good. Just be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It can be very pleasurable to just do it. Just practice it. Just be yourself in it.
Yeah.
Just let yourself, come out, you know?
Yeah. So
it's just like you and your bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing that.
And then every once in a while, when you're solid, you can go out and open your bubble a little. And
you can show somebody or something.
Yeah.
Or you give somebody something, and then they get a glimpse of your bubble, but it's always your bubble, right?
Yeah. At least, right now, it has to be about you and I, us developing ourselves.
Yeah. And how the fuck are you going to be able to accomplish anything if you're not good at shit?
Yeah.
I'm not good at, hardly anything. I'm pretty good at bullshitting my way through a presentation. That's what I'm good at.
But you're not proud of it yet, so it's kind of worth nothing.
There's no reason to be proud of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe in that reasoning. I believe that there should be a reason for being proud of something. Or for saying, oh, I did a good thing.
Yeah.
But it should almost be separate from the work. I sort of think we should always be indulging and enjoying as much as we can, because that's all anybody wants from life, right? Is because there's no higher purpose, there's no higher thing. Just enjoy it as much as you can, and I think the best way to enjoy it is to work at something. You work at something, and then here and there, there's some stuff that would indicate that you've been doing it.
Yeah, because if you never...
There's some development.
Overcome...
Oh, I'm sweaty.
We're sitting in our bed, in our bedroom, and...
I could sit here and be all oh, we need to make some more money. We need to make a lot of money so that we can get some air conditioning in this bitch.
Yeah.
But then it'll just be air conditioning here.
Yeah.
It's not going to change anything, you know? not gonna be like, got it.
Yeah, so
You know,
if you never gain the strength to overcome anything, like if you never, what's the word? Sorry, it's getting dark in here, so my brain's shutting off.
Yeah.
If you never actually get over those hurdles, you're never going to have the strength to do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And so, even if you're laying in bed with a feeding tube and you have air conditioning and you've got cable TV and you're like, literally everybody does everything, like, just waking up is going to be hard.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, you have to challenge yourself so that you know that you can do hard things, and so that other things don't feel so hard.
Yeah, but...
Like, if you work out, walking isn't that hard. But if you don't work out, and you eat like shit, and you're like, you know, extremely overweight, walking's pretty fucking hard. And walking a mile is a huge fucking deal.
And so it's about walking, right? Not about losing weight.
Right.
It's not about losing weight. It's about walking. That's what you're doing. That's the thing that's important. I think maybe, like, just with the way I feel, I don't think it's about overcoming. I don't think it's about achievement. It's about just doing it.
Yeah,
and the
so
literal
I guess...
thing to do.
Yeah, so even that language is a little misleading because, yeah, what I actually mean is working so that you can gain the strength to overcome things.
Yeah.
You know, like, overcoming things isn't necessarily the goal. The goal is to feel freedom.
Yes, that's the goal.
The goal is to feel lighter. The goal is to feel more fulfilled. The goal, you know what I mean? The goal is to feel freedom.
Hell yeah, that's the goal.
And you can't feel freedom if it's hard to walk from your bed to your fucking... Toilet. I was going to say refrigerator, because, you know, food.
Yeah, but toilet is a more disgraceful word.
You know, if you get winded halfway to your front door...
You're not going to feel... it's going to be you're going to have a hard time having fun. That's my view, you know?
If it takes you a whole year to finish a 100-page book, thinking about going back to school and reading an entire textbook is impossible. You know what I mean? So you have to read that 100-page book.
Mm-hmm.
You have to walk to your front door. You have to walk to your mailbox. You gotta, you know...
Yeah.
You have to do those things so that
you can
things in the future don't feel that so hard and impossible, and you can finally be free.
Yeah, it's about freedom. Like, and that's why art is such a beautiful thing to pursue. Because that feels like freedom. Like...
When you're finally not... When your ability to express yourself is finally not...
Expression.
A closed cage door.
Like, that's a word that I think gets used so much that we forget how much it can mean. Like, when I express, like, that doesn't just mean that I'm sending a message. It's a feeling. It's like an expression could be punching someone in the face. That's an expression. Mm-hmm. You know? Or, like, playing a song that, like, takes you somewhere else. Like, yeah, that's literally building a world around you. That's freedom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like, or like playing, like, if you can just shred on a guitar or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a guitar.
1,000 pirouettes.
Plenty of things.
Yeah.
Just the guitar is a popular thing for some reason.
Shrednar.
It's like you can fly. It's like, you know, it's like you see people shredding and they go into this ecstatic state.
Yeah.
They go into this state and like Sufis might say that they're connecting with God. Like, they're like, oh, fuck, like, I'm flying. I'm totally flying.
Yeah.
I'm totally going somewhere else. I'm totally, like rising out of my body, or I'm you know, constructing something out of the sand. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is. And feeling that power and that emotion and that, like, strength or whatever. It doesn't have to be that masculine. Just something. Or if it's drawing, like you're bringing a character to life or something like that. Or if it's martial arts, that's something that's really hard to explain. I don't know if I can explain that. Read a lot of Taoism explains that stuff. Yeah. But it's really cool. Like, to move your body how you want.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, move it.
To control your breath, to control your thoughts, to control your
Yeah.
emotions.
Yeah, and that's really satisfying and really fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, we haven't done it. And so we don't get all those good benefits because we haven't been doing it.
Yeah.
We don't get all that good stuff.
Yeah.
It's so easy to sit and think about all these good stuff, and like we talked about having kids too. And be like that would be another conflict for us to deal with.
Yeah.
That's too easy.
Yeah.
Gotta do this first.
Yeah.
You know?
That would be too easy of a way to put meaning into my life. And I think that's part of the reason why I've been talking about having kids so much lately. It's because, you know, I don't really feel like I have a family right now, and I kind of want a family.
Yeah.
And, you know, I want a community and stuff like that. And then I want to feel fulfilled. But that's kind of the worst reason to have a kid, is for yourself to feel meaning in your life.
I think
I think it's a side effect of having children, but it shouldn't be the motivation too.
I think almost all of us are pretty selfish, in part, and we need to do things that are selfish, but truly selfish, and not say that they aren't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, selfish just means about self, and that's a real thing. You got to deal with your own stuff. You got to psychoanalyze yourself, and you got to deal with your own shit.
Yeah.
I feel like practicing something is a good way to do that. Like, I end up coming across these weird old feelings in my hips, or these weird old feelings of inadequacy.
Yeah.
When adequacy is a constructed thing, and I can feel so good just saying that over and over again, but not really. You know, like, to really get the good feeling, you gotta feel it, and you gotta work through it physically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one thing to understand something mentally, but
can't get away with that.
You can't actually feel the freedom until your emotions connect with your mind and your body.
Right.
That's when it's freedom. That's when all of those things are in harmony, and
Yeah.
Maybe not even necessarily in agreement, but in an understanding of each other.
It's a sensation. It's not an understanding. It's not a knowledge. You know?
Yeah, like just a couple minutes ago, not a couple minutes ago but now, but probably, I don't know, an hour ago when we first started talking. Like I was tearing up because for the past couple of days I've been talking to you about having a really, really, really hard time motivating myself, and I felt really tired the past couple of days. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't figure out why. And just now, a couple minutes ago, I told you, I realized, it's because I'm no longer in a life or death situation. I'm no longer in a desperate situation. Mm-hmm. But just realizing that, just getting my feelings in line with my brain, with my, logical area. I know I need to be motivated, and I know I'm not, but I don't know why I'm feeling that way. Mm-hmm. So getting all of that was an actual sensation that was overwhelming and also clearing, and it brought me to tears. Not because I was sad about it, but because it was just almost like a relief, oh yeah, okay. So, strange place we are in. Do I sound like Yoda? We are going to try and not be so resistant to turning a recording device on and recording ourselves, so that we can continue making podcasts like these. We've made one other one other than this, and pretty clear from what we were talking about today. I'm just saying if it's recording still, yeah. Having a hard time finding meaning in doing the podcast, so feeling a hard time, feeling motivated to do it. But I think the meaning will just come after we've been doing it for a while and we figure out, really why we want to do it. We know that we want to do it. There are a lot of things we know we want to do. We know we want to be fit, but we don't know fully why all of that is beneficial.
Yeah, meaning comes, Meaning comes over time.
Meaning is created over time.
It develops. it develops. It's a sensitivity, you know.
It's like a sourdough starter. That's something he said earlier. I took that from him.
Yeah.
Meaning is like sourdough starter.
And like I've been trying to do that bread, and the first one sucked.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I tried to make injera. That's fucking sucked.
Just gotta do it again.
Not good. Yeah.
That's like, you know, it's an upward battle flying into space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, we're on our way.
We're on our way.
And it's about being on your way, not about being there. So don't, you know.
Yeah.
So you should never be upset because you're not there, because you're not.
Yeah. The going is slow, but the going is going.
You just go.
Yeah.
You're just doing it. And it's at a steady, relaxed pace. You're just doing it.
Oh, how about this? Okay. The going is slow, but the going is going because you're doing.
That's a little redundant.
Because the doing is done.
Yeah. I'm checking on my bread right now.
Anyway, thanks for listening to this podcast. And we'll talk to you next time. See you later.
Hey, this is Nina.
And Ivan.
And thanks for watching our video.
Thanks for watching.
We're gonna do a better outro, but this is all we can get. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.